Yeah, I think for this it's going to be a long, drawn-out situation.
My concern is if you place the same regulations on a global scale, like for everyone, for every single country, that it might stifle innovation.
I don't think this is going to create any more hype for Bitcoin. It's just the same dude, trying to be relevant, acting like he's the creator of Bitcoin.
Jump into the Chain Chatter Zone, where crypto's weekly wonders meet the mysteries of the blockchain buzz. From altcoin adventures to Bitcoin's boldest beats, we're your guide through the digital dance. No detours, just the dynamic details. Chain up and chat on. It's time to sync with the scene. Here are today's topics. So we have 5 topics today, and the first one is SBF Trial is still ongoing. The Portuguese Central Bank favors global crypto framework. High-profile crypto evangelists leave their post. And the Satoshi account is active on X again. So let's start with our first topic with the SBF trial, which is ongoing. Sam Bankman-Fried's trial began this week with 7 counts of conspiracy and fraud for the collapse of FTX. He has pleaded not guilty to all charges. So normally high-profile cases take generally weeks, if not months. Should we expect the trial to also last a long time? What are your predictions?
Yeah, I think for this it's going to be a long, drawn-out situation. I mean, I'm not sure what the total losses are standing at now, but I mean, last I checked, it was like 10 billion or something ridiculous. I mean, if you kind of look at like Mt. Gox when they liquidated, those creditors still haven't been paid out yet, and that was like 10 years ago or something stupid. So I don't expect this to wrap up anytime soon. Especially since Sam is gonna plead not guilty, is just going to create more work for everybody. So I think this is going to be a long, drawn out, winded situation. I did read somewhere that and I can't remember the source, but they were saying that there's a good chance that creditors could be given 100% of their portfolios back, which is generally quite rare in like liquidations and bankruptcies. So that's a good thing. I can't remember who said it, but it was a pretty credible source. So that's good news. But maybe that could speed things up if they can recover all the funds. But in terms of the case, I think this could be drawn out quite a bit. I think he's adamant that he's innocent, and obviously that's not the case. So I think we can expect this to take. I think it's going to take a couple of years, to be honest. But I mean, I don't know. Maybe the SEC or whoever wants to kind of make an example out of him. It doesn't look like that so far. But if they did, they could speed things up and just kind of make a solid example of this crime, I guess. But I don't think that's going to happen. So I think this will be a very drawn out case.
Yeah. What's interesting is that the judge managing the case has also led other high profile cases like Guantanamo Bay and Trump and like other big names. So it's quite interesting. From a spectacle point of view, I feel like this is a historic trial for crypto because I don't think we've ever seen something of like this magnitude before. And it's interesting, this 30-year-old or whatever age he is, and just like I think something came out with like love letters with his girlfriend and stuff like that. So it's just like very reality TV like.
It is, yeah. I think I wouldn't be surprised if they make a fully fledged movie, a Hollywood movie, based on this whole trial. Once more information comes out, I think he had somebody that wrote a book. Somebody wrote a book. I kind of saw it on Twitter/X doing the rounds. There was some like excerpts from the book and how he had this strange relationship with this Caroline, I think it was. And then there was some like weird letters and stuff. So it's kind of like a lot of weird things coming out, and I mean it's like day 2 or 3 now. So I think there's going to be a lot of stuff coming out from under the rugs that could just make this like the next like big movie. And if anything, it's going to put the spotlight on crypto. Not in the kind of way we would like it to be honest, but it is what it is, I guess.
There's so many details that it's just so hard to grasp at the moment. There's also this piece of news where he wanted to give money to ex-President Donald Trump so that he wouldn't run for office again. I don't know if you would consider that as a bribe or like, just meddling with politics in general.
I mean, he was doing that. I mean, the amount of donations he did, to politicians is kind of ridiculous. I did see that though. I feel like he kind of thought that he could do whatever he wanted to do, and paying off people left, right, and center was kind of what he was trying to do, like legally. But yeah, you can kind of see how it all caught up and bit him on the backside. But yeah, I don't think he can plead innocence, all day long. I don't think he's gonna walk. But let's see. I don't know. Stranger things have happened,
Yeah.
I guess.
I know I ask a lot of questions that are like, oh, can you predict this or that? But it's fun to speculate at times. And
Yeah, absolutely.
do you feel like he will plead not guilty like the entire time
Yeah,
of the
I think
trial?
so. I think so.
Yeah,
He's been doing that since day one, and I don't think anything's going to change. And I still somehow think he thinks he's innocent. So, that just shows you the kind of person that he is and the kind of personality that he has. He thinks he's gonna, that he thinks that he's innocent. Anyways, whether he gets off or not, I don't know. But yeah, I definitely think he's guilty. So we'll see what
Okay.
happens in the case, I guess.
Yeah, to be continued.
Yeah.
Cool. On to the next one. So, Portuguese Central Bank favors global framework. Banco de Portugal chief said that the crypto regulations are unlikely to work without a global crypto framework. So, they're seeing that some companies have lighter restrictions than others, so they're not pretty sure if only a national framework would work, and probably a global perspective is a much better bet for crypto altogether. Do you think that a global framework is needed, like just regulation on a global scale, like standardized in a way?
Yeah, I definitely think so. I mean, look, it's a new industry. There's a lot going on. Everybody's got their own opinions of how things work, what should work. The ACC has obviously taken the lead on a lot of that. But even still, they're kind of all over the place at the moment. I feel like Gary Gensler doesn't really know what he's doing. He was very pro
Don't we all?
crypto before he was very pro crypto before he came in, and now he seems like he's super anti crypto. So something has changed, but I mean, it definitely hasn't helped, the US build a framework around crypto regulations. So I feel like Europe are probably going to start, taking the lead on this in terms of, regulating it somehow or getting a framework. Whether the whole of Europe can come together and make one framework, that remains to be seen. But, maybe countries will start getting their own sort of framework put together. Getting their own regulations, and then there can be a broader scope eventually. But it's definitely the right idea and the right move, if we're going to move forward with this industry. With the amount of like scams and rugs and hacks that are continuously going on, it's time that, something gets put down into concrete so that, not only users, but governments know what's going on, and there's a better understanding of how to sort of handle this new growing industry, because it's only going to get bigger over time.
My concern is like if you place the same regulations on a global scale, like for everyone, for every single country, that it might stifle innovation at some point. Or maybe it's just the financial side, but I do see it that if there's a few countries that are a little more lax or a little more relaxed with their frameworks, maybe that can incentivize innovation. Still be regulated, but just a little.
Well, that's
less
kind of
strict.
already happening, right? I mean, like we've spoken before about Malta. I think Singapore also pushing to kind of be more pro crypto. I think the Middle East will probably do something similar. The US right now is the only country that I'm aware of that's like really not progressing in terms of a crypto framework. So I think countries will have their own. I mean, they'll have to adopt their own. It's easier to kind of, have your own framework and regulations for your own country, before there's one that suits everybody. And maybe we will just get like one for the, the United States, one for Europe, one for, the southern portion of Africa, one for Asia, or a couple for Asia, depending on, Japan, China will have different ones. So maybe it'll just kind of be like like a normal for like financial, regulator, just a crypto regulator in each of those different areas, like we currently have. I think that's probably what's going to end up happening.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that mindset. Also, like in the case of CBDCs, I see it as a little more akin to normal bank like Swift and stuff that's super standardized. Whereas with other more private sector things like stable coins, maybe it's not so much needed. But other things that are more publicly driven makes more sense to me.
Yeah, absolutely.
The next one is high-profile crypto evangelists leave their posts. So there are two people that have left this week. Polygon co-founder leaves crypto for AI, and also Warner Music's digital officer resigns. So of course we're going through a deep winter, and AI seems to be like a more interesting option at the moment. I've seen that we're also covering a little more AI than before. But also like this chief digital officer that used to be like super pro NFTs and Web3 has left, So is this a reflection of the overall sentiment of the current market, or like is this a coincidence, or what's your take on this?
I think whenever somebody that's, a high profile figure in crypto specifically, people jump on the bandwagon and say, oh, look, like crypto's dying. Look at all these people leaving their jobs. But I mean, you've got to keep in mind, people are leaving their jobs every day. I know, I can't remember her name. I think it was Oana, is her name, from Warner Music. She was there for like 5 years, nearly 5 years. I think she was 3 years within this position that she was in, the chief digital officer. So, I mean, to be at a company for 5 years and then leave, it's not like, they hired her like 6 months ago and now she's leaving. That to me is like a red flag. She was there for 5 years, was promoted to this role, spent 3 years, they did quite a lot of stuff. I know they did Polygon NFTs. They kind of try to push music into the more digital space. So all the right things, maybe now it's just the right time to jump ship, and there's something else that's, better for her. I don't think it's specifically related to the bear market. But then again, with the Polygon co-founder, it's a little bit more difficult to say. It's one of the biggest, crypto projects in the space. And the price hasn't been doing really well in the last couple of months. Granted, we are in a bear market, and then to now be like, I'm moving off to work on other things. It is a bad look, and it kind of was a reflection on the price. The price is still struggling. So I think people read too much into, anybody within the crypto space leaving. They need to kind of just realize that people leave their jobs. Yeah, people leave their jobs like every day, to move into something better. I mean, she could be moving into a, who knows? Maybe she becomes head of, NFTs at OpenSea. She hasn't announced where she's going next. So everybody could be raising, this big red flag, like, oh my God, NFTs are dead. And then she joins OpenSea, for example, and then, all of that for nothing. Yeah. So I don't think, in terms of sentiment, in a bear market, a lot of companies do the firing. So it's kind of like, you're fired. That's kind of a red flag, I guess. It's kind of, that's a better way to sort of get the sentiment of the market. But when people are leaving their roles in a bear market, I mean, it is what it is, I guess. I don't read too much into it, to be honest.
Yeah. Yeah, it makes sense. Like, especially for the chief digital officer, like, fine, you leave, you get a new job, but as a co-founder, like, this is your baby, right? So,
yeah.
I mean, if they were to go to another crypto venture, okay, fine. But AI, I do feel like there is a trend going on, at least in the background, where people are paying more attention to AI because, they're booming at the moment. And we're also releasing a little bit more of news in AI. But
yeah, look, AI is the trending industry at the moment. I mean, it's huge, like last year, or maybe not last year, maybe a little further than a year ago, AI wasn't really even being spoken about. Now it's this huge new industry that's, doing a lot very quickly. So I kind of get the idea of shifting into AI. There's a lot of potential there. There's a lot of opportunities. He is a co-founder, so he has created, successful companies. Maybe he wants to create another successful company in AI. Kind of makes sense. I know he did say that, the company's in good hands. It's still going to carry on going. So I don't think it's all doom and gloom for like anybody that's a Polygon, fanboy. But yeah, it's kind of disheartening, I guess, to be jumping ship during a full blown bear market when the price is doing super poor. So yeah.
I think that would make a cool video, like the intersection between crypto and AI. So just came to mind. But let's go to the next one. So the Satoshi account is active on X again, formerly Twitter. After 5 years of inactivity, an X account with the handle of @Satoshi posts about Bitcoin. Although no one knows who controls the account, there is a suspect, but the community is in uproar at the moment. This is one of the latest tweets. It's not the latest, but it's one of the latest. Bitcoin was created for everyone. The next halving is an important predicting occurrence when transaction fees are meant to start to supplant the mining subsidy. There are many who do not want you to know the truth. It is not that they want to silence this account. They want to silence you. 2024 is the year of the dragon. So regardless of who posted it, I don't care if it's a hacker or a phony or Satoshi himself, is this likely to bring back interest to crypto in some way?
I mean, it probably got a lot of people interested in like the first couple of hours, but I think, a lot of the people that have been in the industry for a while kind of know that this isn't Satoshi. And I think very quickly people caught on that it was Craig Wright, the self-proclaimed Satoshi Nakamoto. And actually, I know if you go onto X, they've always got that like community notes, and under all the tweets on that account, I actually got it open here somewhere. On all the tweets on that account, it says Craig Wright claims to be Satoshi Nakamoto, but he has been proven to be a fraud. He controls this account, and it should not be trusted. So anybody that goes onto this account and is trying to wonder, is this Satoshi? There's literally a community note under every single tweet that says this. So basically, all credibility kind of thrown out the window thanks to X giving us a community note there. So, and then there's a bunch of sources obviously linked underneath here. So I don't think this is gonna, create any more hype for Bitcoin. It's just the same dude, trying to be relevant, acting like he's the creator of Bitcoin.
There's still some speculation, right? Some people are like sure that it's this guy, and then other people are saying like, nah, probably, who knows? Like we can't tell. But like, how would you pinpoint that it's this guy?
I mean, obviously it's difficult, but I don't think anybody believes Satoshi Nakamoto has an active, Twitter account and just decides randomly to come back now and start tweeting. It just doesn't seem plausible to me, to be honest with you. And I don't think anybody else thinks it's him either, that I know personally. I don't really see it benefiting Bitcoin in the long run. Anyways, I mean, it definitely didn't do much for the price this week when it first started tweeting again. So yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Craig Wright, trying to be relevant again, acting like he's the Bitcoin god, but everybody knows he's a bit of a tool. So
I can't really decipher if there's like a hidden meaning behind 2024 is the year of the dragon. Does that mean anything, or?
Honestly, I know nothing about the Asian calendar, so I have no idea. maybe an impending bull run. I don't know, but yeah, I wouldn't read into anything too much that comes from that account. Yeah, I think it's all baloney, to be honest with you.
Okay, so we won't be seeing any white paper part 2 coming up in the future.
I mean, if we do, it'll be interesting to read, but I don't think it'll be from Satoshi himself.
Nice. Awesome. Well, those are all the topics we had for this week, and thank you guys for joining. See you next week.